Our generation has one collective flaw. It's not laziness, it's not lack of effort, it's that we've put happiness in the wrong place. We think once I land that offer, happiness will arrive. We think once that relationship is fixed, I'll finally sleep. We think as long as the outcome is right, everything will be fine. But here's the problem, the outcome was never yours to decide. 2000 years ago, a group of people already saw through this. They weren't hermits or monks. They were generals, emperors, and slaves. Living in the most turbulent times, they still achieved a kind of inner steadiness that others envied. Today, I'm going to tell you the real truth of Stoicism. It is not a philosophy that teaches you to fake calmness. It is a set of methods that make you truly unbreakable. Let me ask you first, when was the last time you were genuinely anxious? Was it because your boss publicly shot you down? Was it after struggling for ages and still failing? Was it despite pouring in everything you had, yet seeing zero results? You'll realize, what breaks us is almost never the event itself, but the fact that things didn't go the way we expected. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He had no freedom, no property, not even ownership of his own body. Yet he said one sentence that has been quoted for 2000 years: some things are within our control, some things are not. Just that one sentence contains the secret that has pulled countless people back from the edge of collapse. Let's unpack what it really means. Picture an archer. He has trained for 10 years. He stands before the target, takes a deep breath, draws the bow, and releases. What he controls, his posture, his breathing, his focus. What he cannot control, a sudden gust of wind. Most people's mistake is staking all their emotions on whether the arrow hits the mark. When the arrow veers off, the person collapses. Stoics say, change the goal from hit the bullseye to execute one perfect draw. It sounds like lowering the bar, but in truth, it is moving your happiness from a place you cannot control back to a place you can. This tiny shift changes everything, your entire relationship with the world. Now here's the crucial part. You might think this is just motivational fluff. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Everyone knows that line. But Stoics don't just say it, they give you daily practices you can actually use. Every morning, before you step out the door, don't check your phone, don't plan your tasks. Instead, mentally rehearse every bad thing that might happen today. You might meet a difficult client. You might hit traffic and be late. You might say the wrong thing. Sounds depressing? Yet Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who was also a philosopher, did exactly this every single morning. He said, once you have already lived through a misfortune in your mind, when it actually happens, it won't knock you out. You've already welcomed it. This is called premeditation of adversity. Essentially, you build your psychological resilience before the storm hits, instead of waiting until you've already crumbled. When it comes to emotions, Stoics have another counterintuitive exercise: negative visualization. Regularly imagine losing the things you value most: your health, that relationship, your job, the person you thought would always be there. Most people's first reaction: isn't this just torturing yourself? But the Stoic logic is this: you feel numb toward what you have now, precisely because you assume it will always be there. When you truly picture losing it, you suddenly taste how fragrant today's breakfast is, how lucky you are to be able to work at all, how much you actually need the person you've been complaining about. This is not pessimism. It is the most counterintuitive genius of Stoicism. They use imagining loss to cure humanity's deepest waste, taking things for granted. Then there's something every one of us has experienced: anger. You know that moment, right after you hit send or spit out those words, 3 seconds later you already regret it. Stoics call anger temporary madness. They're not insulting you, they're stating a fact. In that second of rage, your judgment is essentially zero. So their method is four simple words: delay the reaction, not suppression, not pretending nothing happened. Just give the impulse time to pass, then decide whether and how to speak. Most of the time, once calm, what you want to say is completely different from what you almost said. And now the most misunderstood point of all. Many people think stoicism means endure, grit your teeth, stay cold, pretend you don't care about anything. That is a total misreading. Stoics never said you should have no desires. What they said is, know clearly what is within your control, then pour all your passion and all your effort into that. For everything outside your control, how others see you, where the outcome goes, simply add one phrase when you plan. If nothing unforeseen gets in the way, just those words, not pessimism, not resignation. It's telling yourself, I have done everything I can. I will not hold myself responsible for what I cannot control. Finally, one last thing. Stoic philosophy has one ultimate direction: live out excellence. But their version of excellence is not how much money you make or how many people know your name. It is this: every single day, the gap between the person you actually live as and the person you know in your heart you should become. Is that gap getting smaller? Wealth comes and goes, status rises and falls, but that gap is measured by you every day with every choice. Stoics are not telling you to give anything up. They are telling you the happiness you keep chasing outside has always lived inside the only place you can truly control. You are just looking in the wrong direction.